guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be another first impressions, and the foundation that we are going to be testing out today is the Milani Conceal Perfect 2-in-1 foundation and concealer because a ton of you guys requested this. As always, if you are new to my channel, I would really love it if you would hit subscribe down below. That way you can keep an eye out for all of my future foundation first impressions. I do these foundation reviews all the time because I know firsthand how hard it can be to find good reviews when you have acne and scarring, because it's really hard to tell a lot of the times what the coverage is going to be like on your own skin. So I love doing these reviews for you guys, and I have a lot of really exciting ones coming up over the next little while, so yeah, be sure to subscribe. Also, please hit the thumbs up button if you love these reviews and want to see me keep doing them in the future, and as always, I will have my full list of past foundation reviews down below in the description bar. So like I said, today we are going to be testing out the Milani Conceal Perfect 2-in-1 foundation and concealer. Shout out to one of you guys because you actually let me know where I could order this in Canada, because let's just say the Milani selection in Canada is absolutely pitiful. So thank you so much to whoever let me know where I could find this. I ordered it from a website called Beauty Joint. For US price, this seems to be around like $10 from what I can see online, and I think I ended up paying about like $18 to $20 with shipping and everything to order it to Canada. It is the standard foundation size, 1 fluid ounce or 30 ml. The packaging is a really nice glass bottle. I actually think this looks a lot more luxe and high-end than it actually is. It's got a really nice pump on it, and it's got like a kind of like black to foundation color gradient on it. I'm just gonna come right out and say it. The shade range for this foundation is absolute crap. If you are any more fair than I am, or you have like a cool undertone at all, I'm sorry to say it, but this foundation probably isn't going to work for you. I picked up the lightest shade, which is 01 Creamy Vanilla, and this is described as a cool undertone foundation. I read that on the Milani website and I was like, bitch, where? Because this is so warm and so yellow, and it's really dark for being the lightest in the range, and that seems to be kind of the theme for this shade range. It's very dark and very warm toned. The shade 02, like the next one up, actually looked slightly lighter than this one from the swatches I could see online, but I had to blind order it, so I'm like, I have no idea. So this foundation is really going to be right on that line in between, okay, this might work, and this is going to make me look like Donald Trump. Coverage says medium to full coverage. It seems to be really great coverage from the other reviews I've seen. I couldn't find a claim about what the finish is going to be like though. They claim that this is going to combat under eye circles, redness, and any other imperfections on your face. They also say it's long wearing, water resistant, also sweat proof as well. And it also says it's going to be lightweight and oil free. For application, Milani says just to apply it with your fingers or a brush. I'm going to use the beauty blender. Got stuck in the little holder. I'm going to use this to apply it today because that's what I'm feeling at the moment. So as per usual, I'm going to clip my hair back and we're going to get started. Alrighty, so as per usual, I have gone ahead and primed the left half of my face only, and I've been using the Maybelline Master Prime Blur and Smooth Primer. So let's go ahead and take a pump of this on the back of my hand. I'm really afraid about this shade match. I'm gonna do 2 pumps actually. I'm really afraid about this because I'm wearing like kind of like an off the shoulder kind of like dress, so it's going to be really obvious if it doesn't match. It is definitely a very thick liquid consistency. Like, it's not budging on my hand at all, so I'm going to take the beauty blender and we're gonna get started. Almost 2 pumps is looking like blended out. The coverage is really good, but it is very, very dark. I'm thinking it's still showing up a little bit lighter on camera, but it is very dark and very orange in person, like just for comparison, so you guys can kind of get an idea of how it's looking. And does anything about this look cool toned to you? No, it's not cool toned at all. It is extremely warm. I do honestly look kind of like Donald Trump in person. I need to blend this down my neck a little bit just to see if that helps a little bit. I really, really like the coverage. Like, the coverage is really nice, really good full coverage, really covered up my acne and scarring. But in what world is this creamy vanilla? This is like creamy Cheeto, seriously. It applied like really flawlessly and really smoothly with the beauty blender. I had no issues applying it. And the finish, I don't know if it's going to dry down a little bit more, but right now it's kind of like a slightly more luminous kind of finish. I think it'll dry down and dry to like a more natural kind of finish though overall. It's very sticky to the touch, and I wouldn't say it's lightweight. In my opinion, it does feel like I have like a thick liquid foundation on basically. I'm looking in the viewfinder and it's really not giving the full effect of how orange this foundation is. I don't know, I really want to test this out and see how it wears for you guys, but I don't know if this is just going to look crazy all day. Like, I don't know if I could balance it out with concealer and make it look a little bit better. I'm definitely not going to use this around my eye area because that would be disastrous because it's way, way, way too dark. If the shade was better though, it would look really nice. Like, I'm liking the finish, I'm liking the coverage. It doesn't seem to be accentuating pores or texture at all, so the formula seems really nice. It's just the shade range is so crazy. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a close-up of it now. I'm going to add concealer and just kind of go from there and see if that helps a little bit. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. So I just applied a very, very generous amount of the NYX HD concealer. It helped a little bit, but it's still just, it's not even like a tan shade, it's just straight up orange. And a very large part of me right now wants to go wash this off my face and apply a foundation that actually matches me, but I really want to test this out for you guys because otherwise it's a really good product so far from what I can tell. Just my very initial first impressions are like, wow, this looks and feels really nice. I'm gonna try it out. I'm gonna see how it goes. Like I said, I'm wearing like a very off the shoulder kind of thing and I'm filming a ton of other videos today, so hopefully it doesn't look too crazy on camera. I'll do another close-up really quick. I haven't like set anything or anything like that, so I'm gonna do a close-up. I'm gonna finish off my face makeup and my brows, and then I'll talk to you guys again in a minute. Okay, so I have basically tried to the very best of my ability to balance this out and make it look not so crazy on my skin, and I think I did an okay job. For those of you who are wondering what I did use, like I said, I used the NYX HD concealer, lots and lots of it to like highlight into my eye area. I set that with the NYX HD finishing powder, and then to set the rest of the foundation I use NARS Siberia foundation, which is quite light and quite neutral. So I thought that would balance it out a little bit. I typically like to use translucent powders for first impressions recently, but I had to do it, you guys. What I would do if I wasn't filming a first impressions on this foundation is I would mix it with a little bit of my Marc Jacobs Remarkable, which is way too light for me, as you guys know, and balance it out a little bit, but obviously that doesn't work for our first impressions because you wouldn't get an accurate kind of review on how this works on its own. That is definitely what I would do. So if you do want to try this foundation and there isn't a shade that suits your skin tone, there are options out there for you, like the Cover FX custom cover drops or anything like that. Aside from the shade, I'm really liking the looks of this. Coverage was really great. Like, I didn't even have to go in and build it up at all. It just gave me really good, even, full coverage. I did use 2 pumps, like I said, but that's typically what I would use when I want like really intensive coverage. It looks pretty smooth. It applied really, really nicely. Like, it went on very smooth, and it doesn't seem to be accentuating any kind of roughness. Maybe a little bit on the side that I didn't prime. It's a little bit smoother on this side, I would say, but just minor. Like, I think it looks pretty good overall. I did have to put quite a bit of powder on it, but I did like the finish a lot before I loaded on the face powder. I would say now that it's dried a little bit and I have set it and everything, it does feel a little bit lighter, but it's definitely still like a full coverage feel. I wouldn't say it's lightweight. But yeah, I'm gonna say the starting time was around 1 o'clock so we can keep track throughout the day. I'm gonna do my close-ups now that I have all my face makeup on, and then another close-up when everything is finished so you guys can see the kind of final product. But yeah, I will check in with you guys later on in the day. So this is going to be my final / only check-in. I'm really sorry I didn't do a check-in throughout the day. I've just been really busy today, and honestly I haven't been feeling that great, and I just really didn't have time. I didn't really have anything to update on like halfway through the day anyways, so I don't think it's a huge deal. But I've had this foundation on for just under 10 hours. I'm so tired. I need to wash off my face and go to bed. So let's jump into the pros and cons. So the first pro is that it did have really good coverage. It was really even, really flawless, and also the application was really great. It was just like a really quick, like no fuss kind of application. No streaking, no patchiness. It just went on really nicely. I think it did have a really nice finish when it was first applied. I really wish I didn't have to add so much powder to kind of like color correct it, but I think the finish on its own was quite nice. It's held up really well throughout the day, and it seems like it's going to be really, really long wearing. Like, I feel like it's a product I could keep on even longer than this and it would hold up really well. And I know my skin's more kind of like normal now and not so oily like it usually is, but I just feel like even on like really oily skin this would hold up really well. It had that kind of like tacky finish before I had set it. I can just tell it's one of those products that's going to like stay in place really well, if that makes sense. So the cons, first thing before we get into the really obvious one, is that it does like look quite thick and quite heavy on my skin, and there's some areas where it's kind of like sitting funny, and I just don't think it's like 100% flattering. I would say definitely more for like oily skin types. I would say if you're like dry to normal, I would probably skip this just because it's probably going to feel too heavy on your skin. I feel like I would like it a little bit more if my skin was still a bit more oily and producing oil and kind of lessening that heaviness, if that makes any sense. And the final con is obviously the shade range. On camera, it really doesn't do it justice for just how orange this got in person. And I mean, I did an okay job balancing it out, but I'm trying to stray away from wearing so much concealer and like tinted setting powders and stuff like that, like powder foundations on top of my liquid foundation. So I don't like the fact that I had to layer on so much product, especially as my skin clears up. I just want to really avoid putting on so much product. Milani desperately needs a shade range expansion. For this product, they definitely need some lighter shades and some more cool toned and even like neutral shades, so it's just a little bit more friendly for everyone, because I'm not even like super ultra fair and this was really dark on me, and once again it's the lightest shade in the range, and that's a huge bummer and downside for me, and I'm sure a lot of people. Honestly, if this was a good shade for me, I could see this becoming a favorite drugstore foundation, possibly, once again more for when my skin is like really oily. The shades are just a gigantic drawback for this foundation. I think it's a big mistake to launch a foundation line and not have lighter options, and like I'm thinking maybe I can use this in the summer, but it's so orange, like it wasn't really a natural shade, but I don't know, I'll have to wait and see. I don't know if I'm really going to get much sun this summer. So to sum up, I think the product is really good itself, and I think if you can find a shade that matches you really well, and once again if you have more like combination to oily skin, I think you might really enjoy this because it's really long wearing and does give really great flawless coverage. Yeah, those are my thoughts on this foundation. As always, I hope you guys found it helpful. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you did. That way I will keep doing these foundation reviews in the future. Please hit subscribe down below if you haven't already, and of course check me out on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat, and I will talk to all of you guys in my next video. Bye guys. Use out of this. So you get a shimmery kind of highlight, you get a more warm tone bronzy shade, or that's the more warm one I guess, and then a contour shade as well, and a blush